Hello, Bill. How you doing? So, I have the lurgy again. I have that which shall not be named, but it begins with C and ends with Ovid. So I feel a bit grim. But the thing is, it's really hot right now here in the UK. So I'm actually quite grateful because this one's giving you lots of chills. So it kind of balances out somewhere along the line. And, you know, sorry to keep whinging about my well-being. It has been one heck of a year and I have had lots of tests done and I'm waiting on results. So it's just kind of like a case of, it's one thing after another. So it's only a few pages in this chapter. So I thought I might as well do it because I'm looking forward to it and I do enjoy doing it. And yes, there's me whinging. So anyway, if there's any breaks in the sort of voice and everything, please excuse. It's just because of the bleglegles. That's my new description for it. So, enough of the inkylog. How are you doing? How are things? How are you going? I hope you haven't had this latest variant. Tell me what you're looking forward to at the weekend or throughout the week or the next few days. The weather's absolutely spanking here in the UK. I hope it's good where you are. I'm not really one for hot weather. I mean, the thing is, I lived in Oman. Dry desert heat. Army kid, you get Hong Kong, Oman, Nicosia. Lots of different temperatures. This is only a few of them I've lived in. Dry heat I can deal with. No problem at all. Dry heat, shade, fine, no problem, sorted. But humidity, right, either be monsoon or be dry heat. This English in the middle, crushing, cloying ickness is minging. I have currently got my feet in a bowl of water just to keep yourself at a good temperature, because of everything else that's going on as well. And it's just like, oh. So anyway, let's get enough of this whinging done. It doesn't achieve anything, really, does it? So my voice is a little bit ick, but we will still do our best, because what do? We do our best, hurrah! Do you know the Norwegian word for hooray is actually hurrah? I quite like it. So, without further ado, my lovely, lovely beans, Faust among equals, chapter 13. I'm looking for some, but hopefully this one will be lucky and we'll get through it in one piece. So grab your safety nets, grab your bungee cords and all the safety equipment you require. Maybe a little cushion for your bum. Here we go, chapter 13. Come in, said the finance director. Sit down. Make yourselves at home. What can I get you to drink? The captain of Spectral Warriors looked around suspiciously, perched on the edge of a chair, and said that he'd quite fancy a small baby sham if that wouldn't be too much trouble. Small baby sham coming right up, replied the finance director, bustling. Now then, introductions. This is the company secretary, the head of security you already know, of course, and this is Harry, he's the production director, and Steve, who heads our sales team. Lads, I'd like you all to meet Vince, captain of Spectral Warriors. The boardroom table bobbed and sparkled with smiles and little waves. Unnerved, the captain waved back. Right, said the finance director. Here's your small baby sham. Everyone else, then, the usual? Right, fine. He clattered some bottles and whooshed a soda siphon. Excuse me. Yes, Vince. What can we do for you? Peanuts, perhaps? Or how about an olive? Steve, get the olives. Right, coming up, won't be a... Excuse me, the captain repeated. But what's all this made of? With respect and all that, but... The various directors nodded approvingly. Here was a man, they seemed to be saying, who come straight to the point and no mucking about. Well, said the company secretary, folding his wings on the table in front of him. Basically, what we wanted to do was, well, really say thank you for all you've been doing. Greatly appreciated. Sterling stuff, of course, absolutely sterling. And just kind of get to know you better, with possibly a view to asking you if you'd ever considered, if you'd like to, well, join the board. As a director, the production director explained. One of us. Absolutely. Quite. The captain slowly put his glass down. he said. Me? The directors nodded.
Why not? Said the head of security. Just the sort of bloke we're looking for.
Committed. Dedicated. 100%, 24 hours a day, 8 days 7 days. Oh, they did bring that in after all, did they?
Just a moment, said the captain. Let's get this straight. You want me to be a director?
The directors nodded.
Oh.
Just as soon, the finance director addressed his remarks to the wall behind the captain's head. Just as soon as we've cleared up this little bit of nonsense we've got on at the minute, of course. Actually, you might be able to help us there because a 40-watt bulb started to glow in the back of the captain's mind. He asked,
What little bit of nonsense?
This, what's its name?
Lindquist.
Langfish.
Lund something? Damn, it's on the tip of my... No.
The captain stood up, his face white as a sawpad sheet.
Absolutely not, he went on. Not after last time. Sorry, but sit down. I really don't think there's much point because... Sit down!
The captain sat down. Someone refilled his glass, and the production director produced a ball of cheese straws, some of which had already had the ends nibbled off. This was, after all, hell, where all the boxes of chocolates came with the coffee creams already removed. Narrator's note, coffee creams are the work of the devil, so they should actually be in hell. So the boxes should be all coffee creams. Just saying. Anyway, I digress. Back to the story. Chocolates come with the coffee creams already removed, and the detective stories in the library all have the last 5 pages missing. Obviously, purred the finance director smoothly, a little reluctance, let's say, is only to be expected. Quite right, too. Absolutely understandable under the circumstances. We respect you for it, don't we? Heads nodded. Nevertheless, the finance director slid a tumbler full of breadsticks and a plate of vol au vents down the table towards the captain. Someone's got to do it, from each according to his abilities and all that. Very sound, murmured the company secretary, and he pursed his lips judiciously. Yeah, absolutely. The captain shook his head.
No way,
he replied, trembling slightly.
Have you people even got the faintest notion of what it's like? 3 days in a damn onion? Quite apart from everything else, the smell.
Jolly good idea, broke in the production director.
Smashing suggestion of yours. I've ordered 5 tons of onions for the adultery wing, by the way, and we're working on the design right now. Actually, we were thinking of changing the name to the Captain Vincent Schwarzschatter adultery wing, just to show our application of... You're all crazy, the captain shouted. There's absolutely nothing you can do that'll make me go back in there after that lunatic. Nothing at all, and it's for the lads.
The finance director held up his hand.
Fair enough, he said. Point taken. Say no more. Subject closed. And like we said, we respect you for it. No doubt about it. Don't we, lads? Absolutely. No question. Utmost respect. Utmost. However...
The finance director leant forward onto the boardroom table and fixed the captain with a selection of his eyes.
That does bring us on rather neatly to what we might call...
He paused and grinned disconcertingly.
The consolation prize. Tell him about it, Steve.
The other portfolio, you mean?
That's right.
The sales director ruffled some papers, took off his glasses and laid them on the table beside him.
Yes, indeed. The other portfolio. Right, where to start?
Spectral warriors, being entirely made up out of solidified paranoia and racial guilt, have no hearts or toenails or pretty much anything else. However, years of mixing with human mortals had given the captain a pretty shrewd idea of what a heart is and what it does under circumstances of extreme apprehension. Accordingly, when the sales director said the words, the other portfolio, his notional or imaginary heart turned to water and tried to seep quietly out through his ear.
Pretty straightforward job, the sales director went on. Recognise punishment for swearing, blasphemy, slanderous gossip and saying nice things about one's employers with intent to procure advancement. Up to the neck in a big vat full of thing. Ordure, the smelly stuff. We get it delivered, fresh every day. Well, not fresh exactly, new. Anyway, that's a question of quality control. Vitally important quality control, broke in the production director. There are rigid specifications laid down in the franchise, so we can't just go around giving the clients any old, as my colleague says. Well, to cut a long story short, the post is now vacant. The captain swallowed hard. Vacancies simply do not occur in an immortal, ineffable workforce. In hell, dead men's shoes means nothing more than the pairs of leather things left outside the doors of the more expensive suites for the hall porter to clean before morning.
What, he asked slowly, happened to the previous?
The finance director grinned very slightly.
Resigned, he said, or rather, misplaced.
Fell in the main vat, the production director explained. Leant over too far one morning, lost his balance, sploosh. Presumably, he added carefully, the poor bugger's still in there somewhere. Damn steep, slippery sides that vat scored. Stop the clients getting out, of course. Very dodgy indeed. For some reason or other, volunteers to dredge the vat to look for him were not forthcoming.
Fourth in 6 months.
Dirty job, but someone's got to... Still, repeated the captain quietly, in there somewhere. With the clients. I see. The production director smiled affably. Sooner or later, he said, the thing'll solve itself. There'll be enough of them down there, our people. I mean, to form a sort of human pyramid so they can climb out again. Some of them... Anyway, meanwhile, he left the sentence unfinished. For his part, the captain closed his eyes and thought about it for a moment. He was not a dramatically imaginative person. You can't be if you're a spectral warrior without having severe personality problems, but he could vaguely sort of picture. It wouldn't, he decided, be the shit that'd get to him in the end. It'd be the endless bloody squabbling with all the other poor bastards stuck down there as to whose turn it was to stand on whose shoulders. He indicated with a gesture his willingness to join the board of directors instead. Now, what Sitting Bull did best was, of course, sitting. Otherwise, he'd have been called Standing Bull, or Bull leaning nonchalantly, or even Bull getting his head down. On this occasion, he was sitting in the polo lounge of Attila's palace, slipping a margarita before wandering into the casino to play a few hands of blackjack and feed some coins into the slot machines. He had, after all, suddenly come at the money. Hi. He nearly jumped out of his skin. If that had been a question rather than a greeting, the truthful reply would, of course, have been, by grassing up Lucky George to Kurt Lundqvist. He turned his head, and his jaw dropped like a badly lowered drawbridge. I, said tall of two figures looming over him, am Carpet Slippers of the Cigar Store Nation. This is Changes Light Bulbs of the Hollywood Nation. You must come with us.
What? Now?
Now.
How?
No, now, with an N.
You mean now?
The dialectic confusion was resolved by Changes Light Bulbs taking hold of Sitting Bull and lifting him out of his chair, an operation that Changes Light Bulbs was able to perform with the thumb and forefinger of his left hand.
Disciplinary tribunal,
he explained. The tribunal met in a small, rather musty teepee at the edge of one of the back lots of the Happy Hunting Grounds. When the tribunal was not sitting, the teepee was used as a combined charnel house and offal depository. It had a certain ambience, je ne sais quoi.
Hear ye, hear ye. Disciplinary Tribunal of the Combined Merindian Nations. His Honour Judge 5 oven-proof dishes presiding. All stand. Sitting Bull, alias consorts with lawyers. You are charged with breach of trust, betraying a friend of the Combined Nations to the common enemy, and behaviour likely to bring the Combined Nations into disrepute. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty? Hey, not guilty. Who are you guys, anyway? 5 oven-proof dishes rapped his desk with a miniature tomahawk and frown. Narrator's note, I'm really sorry about some of these, but I just got to keep it going for the context. But anyway, I digress. Hi, and back to the story. The prisoner at the bar wilted slightly. Cooper Seyorge of the Paris Apaches for the prosecution presented his case quickly and succinctly, whereupon the judge turned and called upon the defence.
Your Honour.
Carpet Slippers rose to his feet and frowned.
I am of the cigar store nation. My nation do not tell lies. This scumbag is as guilty as a bleep, 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 bleep. Certainly can't use that sentence, but anyway, I digress. Hey.
The entire court turned and gave Sitting Bull an unpleasant stare. He sat down again.
The sentence of this court,
said 5 oven-proof dishes, breathing heavily,
is that you be expelled from your nation until the wind ceases to blow and the eagle lies down with the wolf. I have spoken. Oh, come on,
shouted Sitting Bull incredulously.
This whole thing is getting hopelessly young. I demand to know by what right.
Counsel for the defence nutted him with an obsidian club, and he resumed his seat. The judge scowled.
For calling the court jejune, he growled. The mandatory penalty is burial upright in an anthill. Perhaps you would care to rephrase. Okay, not jejune.
Sitting Bull looked around, selected a big, thick legal tome, giggles incessantly on criminal procedure, held it over his head umbrella fashion, and rose to a wary crouch.
Forget jejune, sorry, but really you guys are making one big mistake here. I'm a medium, goddammit. People ask me questions. I tell them. It's my job. I had no choice. Okay?
There was a pause. Counsel for both parties approached the bench and whispering ensued.
Prisoner states that he is a medium,
intoned the judge.
Correct?
Sitting Bull nodded.
Fine. Call Marshal McLuhan.
Witness testified that, in his expert opinion, the medium was the message found to be inherently unlawful. Appeal disallowed. All stand. 20 minutes later, Sitting Bull's suitcases were put outside the front entrance, followed shortly and at great speed by their owner. After a pause, Sitting Bull got up, dusted himself off, shooed various members of the spectral buffalo herd away from his suit covers, and slouched off into the upper air. As he slouched, he considered. It was fortunate, he said to himself, that he was a fully westernized, regenerate member of the indigenous American community, free from the absurd superstitions of his ancestors, because otherwise he'd be firmly convinced that being slung out of the hunting grounds would inevitably result in his being chased 6 times around the sun by the great wolf spirit, bitten in half and eaten.
Absolutely, just as well,
he muttered aloud.
Crazy bunch of goddamn.
He hesitated. He could feel hot breath on the back of his neck, soft fur rubbing his ankles, a nose as cold as death nuzzling his ear.
Woo!
He turned round. Behind him, 2 piercing red eyes, a pair of gnarled ears laid back against a long, thin, cruel skull. George, like scrap car compressors, holding between them a yellow and blue rubber ball. Every bug is made better with a devil dog. Or Cerberus. Or Cerberus is a pet who lollops around. I've actually made this comment on at least 3 book reviews, that seriously, every book is better with a devil dog. Well, a playful one with a rubber ball, because we all like that sort of thing. Yeah. Oh, bless him. Right. I am cooking in my own skin right now, so I'm going to say, right, I'm going to give it my best shot in a couple of days' time to do another chapter. But obviously between now and then I'll probably be doing nothing but sleeping, which is awesome. And everything is tickety-boo. We've got this thing. So please in the comments let me know how you are, how are you doing, how are things, what's going on, what's happening, got any jokes for me, what you got to tell me, any little anecdotes, anything at all? Rose has been said these brilliant letters read by famous people, and I've got to say I'm really enjoying watching these right now. They are so very, very good. Oh, and in addition, thank you all for helping me out with the last chapter, which I kept getting. Was it the last time? I kept putting the wrong one up. Did I say that? But yes. Anyway, thank you all very, very much. We're nearly at 20 minutes. Oh my goodness. These are all short chapters. But the longer ones are going to be coming up for half an hour. Okay, it's time to go. We will mend it, we will fix it, we will stick it, scissors and glue. I need to find another tune. I'm going to keep my eye out or something. As long as it's not tub thumping. Tub thumping is an awesome track, actually. Ah, club singer. Yes. Does anybody remember Vic Reeves? Vic Reeves' Big Night Out? Or do you prefer Shooting Stars? All opinions are welcomed. Yes. Take it easy. Take care. Look after yourselves. Keep hydrated. Keep warm. Keep snuggly. Keep happy. Keep smiling. Keep laughing. And all that tickety-boos and malagos and stuff. I think I'm getting a bit hysterical. Or a little bit hallucinogenic. I don't know. Anyway, yes. Kisses. And I'll catch you soon. Bye. Take it easy.